This is Share the Vision, presented by the Resource Center, a discussion of the programs and services of the Resource Center and about issues related to individuals with disabilities. And today, radio listener, an invitation to you to come to the TRC Expo, which is coming within just a few days, the 9th annual. Steve Watterson, Community Relations Director at the Resource Center, will introduce today's show and prepare us for the TRC Expo. Steve, thanks for welcoming me back to Dunham Avenue.
Thanks for coming down, Dennis.
The TRC Expo, summarize what it's all about one more time in case people don't know what happens here.
TRC Expo is a way for people to come down to the Resource Center and have a lot of fun while learning about all of the things that the Resource Center does, both for individuals with disabilities and to improve our entire community. All of our program and service areas set up some informational displays. Usually they involve some games, some quizzes, and some interactive opportunities. And there's usually some prizes, and it's just a lot of fun. Everybody who has come there every year enjoys it. So if you haven't been before, I would encourage you to come on down.
State the date or dates for the TRC Expo.
We do it twice. We do it once here in Jamestown and once up in Dunkirk. Our first expo here in Jamestown next Wednesday, the 14th. Start off at 9 in the morning. We'll go till 7 o'clock at night. And then the following Wednesday, the 21st, we will be up in Dunkirk. The Jamestown event's going to be at our administrative offices, and it's 200 Dunham Avenue, the old Celeron School, and up in Dunkirk it's going to be at our big facility on Lakeshore Drive.
And anybody is welcome?
Absolutely. Free admission. Come on down. We'll have refreshments all day long. We'll be doing some giveaways all day long of TRC merchandise. If you come down there, you're guaranteed to leave with something. You'll leave with more than you arrived with. Let's put it that way.
And both in your hand and in your head, I
Absolutely.
suspect.
Well put.
Now, I know you have another commitment momentarily here, Steve, so before you leave, introduce the next guest on Share the Vision. We'll kind of take this all the way across the room here. There are a lot of people who are going to speak on behalf of the TRC Expo today.
Well, I think probably it's most appropriate for Nancy Ingram to speak next. Nancy has been spearheading the Expo since year one, right?
Correct.
So I'll turn it over to Nancy.
Nancy Ingram, who's an assistant executive director here at the Resource Center. Nancy, nice to have you back on the radio and nice to anticipate another TRC Expo.
Thank you, Dennis. Yes, it is. This is one of the highlights of our year here. Everybody loves the Expo. We get a lot of people in. We love to see everybody. One of the highlights for me is when staff comes in with their children. We don't often get to see people's families, their spouses, their children. So we love that. I also really enjoy seeing members of the community come in and just take a look around at all the displays. And you always hear every year, I didn't know you did that. I didn't know this was going on here. One of the initiatives we're working on this year is the STARS Capital Campaign. That will be featured at the Expo in some way to help raise awareness of it. For those who don't know, the STARS Capital Campaign is an effort on our part to integrate many of the services we do into a whole person approach to better the health of the community. That is the overall outcome.
This is a very exciting new campaign, new initiative, to use your word again, here at the Resource Center. We spoke about it extensively on this program a week ago. Very exciting plans for the Carl Kappa building, the integration of services, a holistic approach to health care and helping people. It really is very dynamic, and I hope that people will come and learn more about it here at the Expo.
Yes, we're hoping so too, but we also want to feature everything we do. There will be information and booths set up from all of the service departments in the Resource Center, including residential, employment, work centers, day programs, and as well as our support departments. Finance will be represented. Quality assurance will be represented. I'm guessing quality assurance will have their popcorn maker. They do every year. So it's a lot of fun, and it's a way for us to reach out to our staff, to the people we support, to the community, and have them come in and have a good time with us.
This is the 9th annual TRC, or Resource Center Expo.
It is.
In Jamestown, it is Wednesday the 14th from 9 a.m. until 7 p.m. here at the Dunham Avenue administrative offices of the Resource Center. The Dunkirk event a week later, Wednesday, May 21st from 10 to 5 at 186 Lakeshore Drive West. Nancy, since this is the 9th annual, and you have been involved in the planning and preparation of each one of these. Talk to me a little bit about the genesis of this event when you first put it together now, almost a decade ago, and what moved you to try and create such a thing.
Well, his name was Paul Chisana.
It still is, as far as I know.
It still is. That still is his name, correct.
Executive director here.
Executive director. This was his idea. He wanted to have an event. He had been to something similar in Buffalo, where an agency had done something like this. And he wanted to showcase the Resource Center because there is so much we do, and there's not a lot of ways that the Resource Center staff can get together. You know, we're all doing our different jobs, our different programs, our different services, but we don't have a lot of opportunity to get together in a social way. Besides that, there is also the fact that there are still a lot of people who do not know what we do. They may know that we have services for individuals with disabilities. A lot of people do not know we have the clinic services, primary care, dental, PT/OT speech for the general public. They may not know that we do a lot of employment initiatives for people in the community. So it was his idea to get us all together, invite the staff, the general public, and just have a good time.
Have a good time. I'm glad you said that, because the next thing that came to my mind, having been to a number of TRC Expos over the years, is the environment around these events and what an extraordinary effort is made to not only make this informative but entertaining for people.
Absolutely, Dennis. It is, I think, the most fun we have here as an agency every year. I really do. Just seeing everybody, being able to interact with everybody, the different departments, and the ideas they come up with. Every year they amaze me because every year I think, well, we're not going to top this. But every year they do. Each department has games or surprises or costumes or just something, a lot of fun going on. Plus we have food, which is always nice. We have door prizes. We have giveaways. So it's just a good time all the way around.
Steve and you both mentioned the things that you can take home in hand with you when you leave the TRC Expo. What are some of the items that people might see that they might end up with in their hands
Well,
this year?
it's Resource Center theme merchandise. Door prizes could be water bottles or a travel mug. We have some T-shirts this year for door prizes. The giveaways tend to be pens, refrigerator clips, badge holders, emery boards. We got the emery boards back this year, a perennial favorite. So a variety of things, Dennis.
Nancy, I'll have you hold on with your vast, long experience with the TRC Expo. Come back at the end if there's anything that you want to recap or anything that we leave out in the next few minutes here. Feel free to add it in. But before you go, would you introduce the next person who's going to speak to us on the air here today?
Well, I will. I'm going to turn it over to Jane Young. Jane is a long-term employee of the Resource Center. I'm not sure I know your exact title these days.
Still site supervisor.
Site supervisor over at the Work Center in Jamestown. But in addition to being a long-term employee, Jane is a stalwart volunteer at pretty much everything we do. She is the official TRC photographer. She shows up at every event and takes pictures. Has been on this planning committee for the Expo for the whole 9 years?
Yep.
So I'm sure Jane's perspectives on the Expo will be valuable also.
Thank you very much. I'll have you two switch places. This is Share the Vision on WJTN, and we are previewing the Resource Center TRC Expo, or Expos. The first one Wednesday, May 14th in Jamestown from 9 to 7 here at Dunham Avenue, and then the Dunkirk Expo a week later at 186 Lakeshore Drive West from 10 until 5. Jane, welcome back to Share the Vision.
Good morning, Dennis.
How are you?
I'm quite fine, sir.
Your anticipation, your feelings as you get ready for the next TRC Expo?
It's gearing up. It's here again already. And our input is coming right along. Our department, Rehab and Employment Services, is getting very excited about it.
Are you willing to say why they're getting very excited about this? Or should we wait for people, hold them into suspense till they come to the Expo?
We'll have a little suspense. Each department has a theme that they choose. It's not one complete theme for the entire Expo. Each department chooses what they want to do and what game they want to portray for their specific ideas that they come up with. But our team has chosen one this year, and it's pretty exciting.
Just the way you say that, I bet I'm not going to get any more information out of you.
Not.
The man sitting opposite you, I think, was a little disappointed that we didn't put him on first. So if you would please introduce yourself or have Jane introduce you.
I am one of the burgeoning members of the Expo group. This is my third year with TRC and working with the Expo. I am Mike Braxton. I do enterprise development at the Resource Center.
Well, Mike, let's have a dialogue now between you and Jane, because I know you were anxious to get on the air here and talk about some aspects of the Expo as well, so I'm going to let you cut loose for a minute or two.
Loose. One of the things I'd like to go back to is what Steve and Nancy were saying is the 7 degrees of separation theory, that everyone knows somebody within 7 degrees. And TRC has touched everyone's life in this county, in this community. We might not know it, or our community might not know it, but maybe your neighbor works for us, maybe a family member receives services from us, maybe the grocer that bags your groceries at Tops works with our employment services department. And this is an opportunity for everyone to come down and learn what we do and how we affect lives, and possibly get some really nice swag. We have gorgeous T-shirts that are some of the softest I've ever felt. We have Stars magnets that are great for either keeping potato chips nice and fresh, holding up towels on your refrigerator whenever you need them. Little badge clips, because most people that work anywhere have a badge, and they are great. You can even use them, Jane was just demonstrating it for me, to hold keys on your belt. Being around Jane, Nancy, Steve, and the people on this committee, I'm adrift in a vast sea of experience and knowledge, and I'm trying to glean as much information as I can, and it has been a fantastic experience. And
Mike, may I ask you the following
feel free.
Innocent question? Have you ever been involved in sales at any level in your...
I have not.
You're an excellent salesman.
What I think, especially with working at the Resource Center and working with these people, is you begin to believe in what we do, to make changes and volunteer and go above and beyond and become a member of the TRC community, which within 1 degree of separation is Chautauqua County. And if you're listening and you don't know what we do, or have a family member that might
need Resource Center
services, come on down. We can't stress that it is a free event, and everyone leaves with something. Most tables give out candy for the kids. There's always fun games. You get entered into win many wonderful prizes. I believe the food is free. So besides getting to come down and have fun, you get free lunch. That's enough to get me here.
Well, and you're the second. Nancy also mentioned young people coming to this event, and it's an ideal opportunity, I would suspect, to have youngsters in the community gain an appreciation for the Resource Center and the consumers that you serve here in a very welcoming and sort of fun environment. Jane has backed away from the microphone a little bit here, but Jane Young, you're welcome to chime in further on these topics if you want to.
Also, one of the special vendors that shows up is fingerprinting. So when the children that do arrive come for free, the parents can have the children fingerprinted, which is a wonderful thing to do.
It is fantastic. It is sponsored by the area Masonic lodges, and it's not only fingerprinting, but they supply an identification card and a CD with all the child's characteristics. Thank you. I was at loss for a word. So their weight, their parents' name, how to contact them, and this is so you have it on hand in case, knock on wood, God forbid, anything happen. You have that information to give to any authority figure or a nice snapshot of that child at this point in their life.
And it's something available to anybody who comes here.
Anyone that comes, and it is free of charge. And the Masons are wonderful people that put this on.
Mike, tell us again the area that you work in, aside from this committee here at the Resource Center.
What I do for the Resource Center is enterprise development. Many people know that we have our huge industrial sewing that keeps hundreds of people employed. 90% to 95% of them are individuals with disabilities maintaining a full-time career, but we'd like to branch out, and I am the individual for implementing the harebrained schemes that I might think of at any given moment. Right now, we are gearing up for our landscaping season.
Mm-hmm.
You might have heard me or seen me at the Jamestown Garden Expo. We had a presence at the Renaissance Center and at the train station this year, and we are open to the community if you're interested in landscaping services or even having a free quote.
The reason I asked you that question is if you could, because Jane was very unwilling to, beyond a certain point, tell us what she had planned for the Expo this year. You'll be there too?
I will be there. My role will be to hand out the free lunch if I don't eat them all first, so please come early and come quick. I will also be in contact with some of the nurseries I use, and I will be supplying some hanging baskets and flowers to brighten and make the avenue beautiful.
Very, very nice. Okay, I'm going to let Nancy swing back in here for just a moment.
I just want to recognize Kathy Field, who is the person sitting at the other end of the room.
I thought she was going to come on the air.
No, she's choosing not to speak this morning, but I just want to recognize Kathy as being with us every step of the way here, also involved with the first Expo, doing everything that needs to be done to get these events on. So thank you, Kathy. And
how long does it take to put together an expo like this?
We started planning when? January, I think. The first year it took us, the first couple of years it took us a much longer, but we've kind of got it down now. We kind of know what we need. We kind of have the people on board. Mike is relatively new, but we know every year we need some guys in a truck, and
I'm a guy with a truck.
Our guy with a truck retired last year, so we needed a new guy with a truck, so Mike stepped in. He is our guy with a truck just for some lugging stuff around. There's a lot of detail, but we have a really good group, and people do what they need to do, and we get it on. We get it done. I'd say the majority of the work probably is done by the departments, coming up with their displays every year.
And in case it is not evident to our audience already, all aspects of the Resource Center and your affiliated corporations also have a role in this expo. So really, it's a representation of everything that comes under the umbrella of the Resource Center.
It is, Dennis, yes.
What a marvelous way to have people again come and get some understanding of what happens here. And I bet, as often is the case, there are some moving moments in terms of coming to an understanding of the remarkable history that you have here of changing the lives of persons with disabilities and their families.
Correct. There are always many moving moments when we get this many people together. I guess one of the most moving, or several of the most moving I can remember, is since we moved into this building, the people that have come in that went to school here and want to talk about those memories and being so happy that we have given this building new life. That has been very moving to me. And the other thing, like I already mentioned, was seeing staff people bring in their children and helping them learn what we do here and see where their parents are and what they do. I always find that exceptionally moving.
How big is the Resource Center today in terms of approximately the number of people that work here, the number of locations that operate? Nancy, do you have a feel for that?
If you count the work centers, the number of employees is 1,700 or thereabouts. Locations, Steve, come up to the microphone. 30,
Steve Waters,
44, 30 group homes, so it's probably 45 to 50 locations.
Yeah.
I was just reflecting on what Mike said a little earlier in the program about the vast influence and presence that you have in Chautauqua County at many, many different places, and yet how that is often people still do not have a very clear understanding of all that you do here, despite your presence almost everywhere and the extraordinary impact that you have on so many people.
Yeah, I think there's probably about 800 people with developmental disability, and that's really our core mission, who we serve. But, as Mike was pointing out, and as we've talked before in this program, I think there are 16,000 people who in the community who benefit from our primary care, dental, mental health, all of those health-related services that Nancy was mentioning, the occupational therapy and the physical therapy. That's a huge chunk of the county population, and not most of those people are not individuals with a disability. My primary care physician is one of the doctors here at the Resource Center, and I'm not alone like that among staff and others. So. Really, if you're not familiar with TRC, I like to say this is a nice, safe, low-risk way for people to get initiated with us, because there's people coming and going throughout the expo all day long. So we're not going to know if you're somebody from the community who knows nothing about us or a family member of an employee. So you can come in, kind of walk around the tables. If you have some questions, you can stop and ask. And it's a good initiation into TRC, and frankly we'd like to see more of our own families here. We do have a lot of staff who bring their families, but the families of the people with disabilities whom we serve, they're probably very familiar with a few of our services, but they themselves are probably not aware of all the things that we do. So it's a great educational opportunity for everybody.
Let's handle logistics for a moment, because as has been pointed out a number of times in this program, we're at the Dunham Avenue Administrative Offices of the Resource Center, the old Celeron School, but you really prefer people to come to the back area, a former gymnasium here, now your conference center, to come in.
Yes, that would be the best way to do it. We're going to have the staff that work here fill up the lot in the front and use the back last. And Expo attendees, yes, please come to the back. The door, we'll have it marked somehow. We'll have balloons or something. And we do ask people to sign in just so we can keep a count of how many people have come every year to the Expo.
About how many people come every year?
In Jamestown, for a one day, it's been right around 1,000. Dunkirk, we seem to get lower attendance. It's been around 450 in Dunkirk for one day. And last year, we only had the one day here. This year we're back to having 2 days, so we're pretty excited about taking the show back up to Dunkirk this year.
It's the same program essentially in both places?
Essentially the same, correct. We just shift everything up there the following week and do it all over again.
One other point on logistics before we move on to anything else, and that is it is handicapped accessible. Parking is easy close by the door at the rear of the building here. If there are
Yes, there are several spaces out there. There is a ramp into the back of the building. If anybody were to arrive here and the spaces were filled, please send somebody in to tell us, and we will figure something out because we do get a crowd that day. And if some of our individuals or the individuals we support come over here in wheelchair accessible vans, I think it has happened before that those spots have been taken, but let one of us know. There'll be enough of us working here, and we will figure something out. So,
do the assistant executive directors or the people in the community relations office here at the Resource Center, do you have displays also? Am I going to get any more out of you than I did out of Jane Young?
I do not have a display. I tend to run around all day. It's the one day every year I wear sneakers. Kathy and I are busy with the committee all day. Coordinating, just putting out fires, replenishing giveaways, checking the food. But Steve can
our department, that. I don't want to say we've fallen into a rut, but what we tend to do every year is we're having our Laurel Run logo contest going on, and all the submissions were due in this past week. So we will have all of them out at our table at the Expo, and people can come by and help pick the logo designs that they like the best, and then we will take those finalists and do a further vote to determine the actual ultimate winner of this year's Laurel Run logo. And we'll also have some information up about TRC membership. As Nancy mentioned, the STARS campaign. We've got a new initiative called Universal Outreach that's going on. So we'll have those sorts of things up.
30 seconds for universal outreach. I don't want to leave. Don't leave me in suspense, much less the listener.
Okay, briefly, universal outreach, again, a Paul Chisana initiative, but arose from the realization that a number of people, particularly job coaches here at the Resource Center, going out and meeting with employers with a pretty much narrow purpose of trying to find jobs for people with disabilities, why not take advantage of the fact that they've made that connection, they have their foot in the door, and have a deeper conversation with those employers to share some more information about TRC, get an idea if there's some other ways that the Resource Center may be able to benefit that business, or that the business can benefit us. We've had about a dozen, 10 employees who've gone through some customer service and outreach training, and that initiative's just rolling out right now.
Well, we are coming to the conclusion, a minute and a half or so left in today's Share the Vision program, and I will have Nancy Ingram, who's been part of these TRC Expos from the first one, and this is the 9th annual, give the essential information about when and where people can come and learn and enjoy learning about the Resource Center.
Okay, this year's 2014 TRC Expos, Jamestown, Wednesday, May 14th, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., back entrance of our building at 200 Dunham Avenue, which is the former Celeron School. And in Dunkirk, Wednesday, May 21st, 10 to 5 p.m., 186 Lakeshore Drive West. It's what we call our Lakeshore Drive building. People should use the side door where it says Day Services. One more thing I want to point out is that the Resource Center does fundraise. We have several fundraising events throughout the year. This is not one of them. This is not a fundraising event. This is a fun event. The only thing that people would be asked, or if they want to spend money on, would be the executive management team auction. Every year, the 25 members of the executive management team donate an item to be auctioned off. Every year, the proceeds go to a different. Last year, it went to fund our camp initiative at Camp Oneasha. Sure. This year, it's going to fund the STARS campaign. That's the only thing that people would need any money for, and you certainly don't have to buy tickets to that. So,
do you happen to know what this year's auction item is?
Oh, there's like 25 of them.
Oh, there are 25.
Everybody donates. There's a lot of restaurant gift cards. There's a gas gift card. There's gift baskets. There's a couple of Vera Bradley bags. There's a chocolate.
Not for me personally, but I know some Vera Bradley fans out there.
Yeah, there's a chocolate gift basket. So I just want to point that out to people, too, that we're not, the purpose of this event is not to raise money. So
very well spoken. Nancy Ingram, thank you for your time. Anything further from Jane Young or Mike Braxton before we close this program today? Lean right up there on that microphone, Jay.
I will allude to that the Rehab and Employment Services booth would be a photo op for folks.
A little more there, folks. A little more for you. Okay. Thank you very much. Mike?
No, I'm
Steve Watterson, to finish up today's Share the Vision program, and I hope people have caught the spirit of this broadcast because it is just representative of what the Expo is really like when you get here.
Yeah, I, not to divulge what Jane's talking about, but a number of our programs and services, there will be people in costumes. They take themes from movies and TV shows, so there's a lot of fun stuff going on. And it's not just people standing around behind a table talking to you. It's a lot of interactive, fun stuff. And Jane's group is going to be probably one of the highlights, if not the highlight.
Well, to Nancy Ingram, Steve Watterson, Jane Young, Mike Braxton, thank you for sharing the vision today.